Hello and welcome to the second video in the Equinox Planning app onboarding tutorial. Today we're going to cover uploading a CT scan and performing an immediate reconstruction. I'm already logged into the Equinox Planning app on the home page, and to upload a case I'm going to use the plus symbol in the bottom left corner. This is going to open up File Explorer on my Windows computer. Here I'm going to scan through and select the CT image folder that I'd like to use. I'll click Select Folder, and the Equinox Planning app will open it up. On this page, you may see multiple options. Each option relates to a CT series, and each series may have a slightly different number all the way over here at the end. What these three values mean are the length, width, and thickness of the CT scans. For this case, we only have one CT series, so it's already highlighted in blue. I'm going to click Select, and once the Equinox Planning app is done going through those CT images, it'll show you this picture right here, and all you're doing is just selecting the side of the body that the scans were taken. You're matching the image on the right to the skeleton on the left. This view lets you go through each image of that CT to see what it looks like before you actually upload it to us. The next page that you'll see allows you to input some information about this GPS case that you're creating. Here I've already selected that this is a case for Dr. Connor test. My patient ID, which will not contain any PHI, will be onboarding test 2. I will update my planned surgery date. So let's say it's going to be next week. We ask that you give us at least 7 to 10 business days in between the time that you upload the GPS case to us and the time that the actual surgery is performed. So please keep this in mind. And finally, I'm going to select pre-planning and Exactech GPS surgery. Then we move on to validate. This is the message that you see if your CT scans were taken greater than 6 months from the date you try to upload. Since this is just a demo case, I'm going to click yes, the pathology has not evolved. And then we can review all the information that we've included one last time, and finally click upload to GPS Web. So now that we've uploaded our case to GPS Web, we can review our case list and see that the case status is reconstruction in progress. This means that the GPS team is currently working to create that high detail 3D model of the patient's scapula for you. Now, in the immediate term, what we can do is we can go in over here on the right side and select Edit Immediate Reconstruction. This allows us to use our computer to create a model that is sufficient enough for pre-planning and is later adapted to the 3D reconstruction delivered back from the GPS Web team. In this step, what we're going to do is we're going to select Friedman's axis. So we're going to select the center of the glenoid, and then we're going to look for the center of the trigonum. I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. Then I'll left click to select the trigonum center. And here is a crude 3D model of the patient's scapula. As you go through more steps, the Equinox Planning app will begin to refine this model until you get to the last step, which allows you to pre-plan against the model you create. Here I can see that the center point of the trigonum, the part that I selected, is a little bit low. So I'm going to go over onto the coronal view, and I'm going to raise my point up just a little bit. I'll reference where that point is again on the model on my left. Raise it up some more. And that looks sufficient enough for this demo. Ideally, you're putting the green point in between the center of these 3 anatomic spines. You go a little bit higher. Great, that looks good. Then, after I've managed to center the trigonum as best I can, I'll move back to centering the glenoid. Again, just making small adjustments. And once I'm happy with my decision, I can click Next. Here, I'm going to select the peripheral points of that glenoid face. I'm going to be very careful to make sure that my points do get placed on bone. Here we can see the preliminary reconstruction that's been assembled by the software. This is another window where you can click and drag to manipulate the model. In some situations, you might have extra flecks of bone that represent the humerus or the patient's rib cage. And in these scenarios, you can right-click and hold the right-click button to draw a circle, and then release the right-click button to remove bone that's captured in that circle. If you decide that you want to undo your previous step, you can click Undo. And if you'd like to undo all of the steps that you've taken, you can click Reset. And finally, we get to this page. On the left-hand side is the 3D model that the software has created, and the blue line represents the outline of that model on the left. The blue outline is referenced over the actual CT images that you uploaded into the Equinox Planning app to allow you to visualize how accurate this model is by referencing how close it gets to the perimeter of the bone that you can see with your human eye. In some situations, there may be a red patch on the model over here on the left, and in those situations, you'd want to sweep the blue line through those red patches to see if there's a discrepancy between the blue outline and the actual outline of the patient's anatomy.